Podquest.
Strawberry Passion Awareness.
Yes. That one.
And I don't know what it's making me aware of.
Wow, I'm going to have to take the levels down on that, yes, because I just got real excited. I'm going to blow out
You got
people's
real
ears.
rowdy for the Fruitopia.
Yeah, no, when I was in middle school...
What, did that get discontinued? Like, there's no way you don't have it.
I can't find it anywhere, but here's the thing. When I was in middle school, the same school that I would get Nutty Buddies at,
Oh, fuck.
they had a vending machine in the cafeteria you could use, and it was like it was like a 35-cent vending machine, which is already a weird price, right?
That's absolutely insane.
And it was stacked. It was full of cans of Fruitopia, Strawberry Passion Awareness, and I would.
That's weird.
And I would.
That's very specific.
Yeah, that was like their default flavor, I guess. I don't know, but that's what the marquee, like the front of the machine. It was a Fruitopia vending machine, and it was full of cans of the Strawberry Passion Awareness, and I would get it like every fucking day. It was the best. And I've been chasing that dragon ever since middle school.
Well, in the event that you continue to not be able to find any of the magic elixir Fruitopia Strawberry Passion Awareness, I could always just send you some in the mail.
You send me a jug of Fruitopia, and I'll send you like 6 cans of Coca-Cola Cherry Zero Sugar Energy.
Honestly, fair trade. You know what else is a fair trade? Let me say this. You cannot ruin this segue. Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah. Yeah, because...
Can't argue with that.
I mean...
There's a trading post in it.
There's a trading post in it. Also, it's a martial arts tournament, so people are fairly... Trading blows. Exactly.
Ooh. That's how you know we're podcast co-hosts. Same wavelength.
There it is. Yeah. All right. That's it. Let's dive into it.
Welcome to episode 3 of MK Podquest, which is the show that you're listening to right now, wherein we watched episode 3 of the television show Mortal Kombat Conquest, which is called Cold Reality. And you'll never guess who shows up in this one.
No spoilers, man. We're not there yet. I'm Neal, one of Earth's chosen podcasters.
And I am Corey, the other of Earth's chosen podcasters. Weirdly, there's only 2. There's a few big shows. You'd think some of them would have made it onto this list. So far, it's just us.
Well, those people chose podcasting, but let's be real. Podcasting chose us.
Broadcasting was thrust upon us.
It's our duty. We have to defend Earth Realm from the forces of boredom.
Do we have to train the next generation of Earth's chosen podcasters?
I hope not. I'm such a bad teacher.
I'm sure if we put our heads together, we could figure it out. Just like our 3 heroes. I'm running out of these segues, man. These are getting desperate.
No, we're good. But on that topic, we need a shortcut to talk about them, right? Because we're always like Kung Lao, Taja, Zero, et cetera, et cetera. There's going to be a lot of that.
The gang.
I think we call them the combat crew.
Ooh, I like that. Is there a sillier word than crew?
Not that's shorter, I don't think.
Right.
Combat Kids is taken.
I wanted to say that, but it's taken.
Yeah.
I'll take combat crew, sure.
Real quick segue. So, you know the Virtua Fighter video game series?
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
So there's a Virtua Fighter game on the Sega Saturn that...
Dude, you're living up to your name, dude. You are a aficionado of the Sega Saturn.
Yes, hell yeah. So
you don't just own it, you love it.
I own it and I love it, and I love this particular game on it. It's Virtua Fighter 2, but all of the characters are like chibi.
Okay.
And it's called Virtua Fighter Kids, and it's so good.
That's a fun gimmick for a game. Like, I would have loved to see, like, Mortal Kombat for babies.
Right.
And it's all just, like, toddler fights.
On that note, you kind of get that, you know, you pop in, like, I think it was in Deadly Alliance and in Armageddon, if you play the Motor Combat minigame.
Yeah, with the big heads.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's big, grotesque nightmare heads.
And then I think in Puzzle Combat also, they're represented that way. It's fucking dope. I love it.
Yeah, give us a whole game of that. Let me play it on my phone.
Right? They should. Yeah. God, they're leaving so much money on the table.
Call us. We will consult for a reasonable fee. And I know it sounds like I've said a lot of things this episode where I'm asking people to give us money for stuff. And I know it might make you think, hey, is this just a ploy to get money? And I'm not saying it isn't, but I am primarily here for the love of the game. And that game is Mortal Kombat Conquest, the TV show.
Also, we'll definitely take your money if you want to give it to us. So, tweet at us.
I will sell your VPN or your headphones or your mattresses. It's fine. I'll sell gold. If there's still a thing.
Yeah.
If the bridge for Mortal Kombat podcast isn't burned for them.
Oh, God. None of us signed up for that.
There's no way a single one of us signed up for that.
All right.
Speaking of things nobody signed up for, Kung Lao in training the next generation of fighters in Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Yeah, let's get into episode 3, Cold Reality. It's the Sub-Zero episode. I don't want to play tricks on anybody. It's called Cold Reality, right? What else is it going to be?
Yeah, there's a reason I also did that exact same bit.
Yeah, I know, but you were like, what do you think that one's going to be about? Let's just fucking tell them.
I mean, it could have been about, what's her name?
Frost.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, they go to Frost before they introduce Sub-Zero.
Could have been about, Tundra.
Or a Hydro.
It could, dude, I wish it was about Hydro.
Right?
Fuck.
This is like perfect Hydro. There's
no good reason why this show isn't full of like D-list characters.
I mean, it kind of is, as like, by the very nature of the show. All right, that's another thing I wanted to ask about. So, okay, so we know.
Just kidding. We're not getting into the episode yet.
So we know. So we know that in the future of the series, Liu Kang in this universe is descended from Kung Lao. Do you think that there's characters that we see later on in the movies or in the series that are descendants of Zero and Taja?
Ooh.
Right? Like Zero, like,
well, Striker and Zero.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zero's a cop.
Zero's a cop. Sorry, hate to say it, but
maybe Striker. I was also thinking maybe Johnny Cage.
I feel like that's only because Daniel Bernhardt is a real movie star.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Zero isn't.
Right. So Zero's probably.
It's just Striker. Yeah, it's just Striker. Maybe Cabal too, but like that's just because they're cops.
Yeah. What about Taja though? What do you think? I mean, the clear choice would probably be Sonya Blade because of the Earthrealm connection, right?
Yeah, but that feels like that feels like an uninspired connection.
It does. Maybe maybe Taja,
because I don't know how many commonalities are there beyond Earthrealm and Girl.
Yeah, I guess that really is kind of the only thing they have in common. Well,
which might be more of a commentary on Mortal Kombat's inability to have like a wide array of female characters for much of its existence.
Right, a lot of them come from other realms. But Taja's kind of an independent spirit also, and that's sort of Sonya's whole thing. I think that there's some. But I think it'd be interesting because Taja's also a little, amoral is not the right term, but she's a thief. What if
it exists within a gray area?
Yeah, she. What if it's someone like Kano?
I could see that. That seems more potentially true. I think that's a more fun answer. I think even if over the course of the show, Taja sort of distances herself from that, I think it's still, it's in the bloodline, right? Like it's always a possibility. So, there's an alternate universe where she sells like a fucking predator missile to a wizard.
Yeah, I think it could be Kano. I also think it could be. I think she's a good contender for Johnny Cage's bloodline because she's a bit of a wild card, and of course he is too.
Yeah, and she's like snarky.
Yeah, more
so than smarmy. Like it's a very fine line, but I feel like our man John Cage has got the snarky one-liner down. Jonathan Cage.
Yeah,
James Cage. Whereas this is more of a Raiden is more of like a whereas like Taja's more of like a
Yeah, she's quippy and also
Quippy. There it is.
extremely good looking, and so is Lyndon Ashby.
Everyone's favorite Microsoft Office help tool, Quippy.
All right, yeah, let's get into the episode.
So, y'all ever heard of Mortal Kombat 3? Nope. Mortal Kombat Conquest Episode 3.
Yeah, Cold Reality.
So, you ever heard of the Lin Kuei?
Let's talk about it. Cold Reality, written by Steve Hatman and directed by Doug Leffler. Steve Hatman's going to pop up. He's written quite a few of these, I think. He's written at least a couple more, so.
We're going to become well acquainted with the Hat Man by the time we're done this.
And I'm going to say it. This dude gets it, right? This episode felt, in its portrayal of Sub-Zero, as weird as it is, based on what we know, I think he gets it. I think he does kind of get the show, or get the games, right? He does get the characters in a way that I don't think they completely nailed it with the whole Takeda thing in Warrior Eternal Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, they handle Sub-Zero better than the Takeda thing, but I was going to say I think he gets it because this feels like a monster of the week, and not that he gets it because it's a good understanding of Sub-Zero, because as you've said, this is a fucking weird take on that.
It is, but they say enough things that makes me think that they kind of are trying to be a little bit more respectful of at least what was established as Sub-Zero, back when the show came out. Not all the stuff we learned after, like Mortal Kombat 4, but all of the stuff that kind of preceded it.
Right. I don't know. That does not look like a man named Bihan.
Well, that's the one thing they don't drop his name. But let's get into this. So we open on another dark room with a guy in it doing kicks.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that if you wanted to boil this TV show down to its essence, it's a dark room with a guy doing kicks in it.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I'm totally here for it.
Yeah, no, totally, sure. And he's going off.
He is. He's shirtless, sweaty.
There's a spotlight.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Ripped as hell, doing jump kicks and shit.
Yeah, this is J.J. Perry is the actor.
To a crowd, we learn.
Yeah.
To a I'm gonna get this out of the way. To a poorly costumed crowd.
God, yeah.
Those outfits look cheap as hell.
Right? I told you these are
It looks
so
like
bad.
some Spirit Halloween shit.
Right?
It's unfathomable to me that that main guy with the weird 2000s goatee, with his eyes covered, it looks like he's wearing a big blanket.
So you're talking about the Lin Kuei Grand Master.
That's correct.
They haven't dropped the name yet, but this is the Lin Kuei, right? The ancient secret Chinese assassination league.
Right.
We know they're Chinese from game canon. I don't think that's established in the show.
Because the actor is very much not Chinese. I want to make that unequivocally clear.
Yeah. We know that the Lin Kuei is a Chinese organization of assassins, but J.J. Perry doing kicks in the dark room, very much not a Chinese man. Maybe we shouldn't pigeonhole it as Chinese in the show.
Well, I think also that's emblematic of like a different problem, which is a weird refusal across multiple iterations of Mortal Kombat media to cast the characters with actors that are relevant to them. Like, I feel like there's a lot of like weird whitewashing and casting, so that's not super new.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, to the show's credit, they don't really, they said it in a fictional city. It's kind of establishing that Earthrealm as presented to us in the show and in the movies does not reflect our actual Earth.
Right. And also the man can throw ice, so like...
Yeah, and Zhu Zhen is definitely a melting pot of a city.
Yeah.
So maybe it just wasn't like an issue for them back then. I don't know. Maybe they really considered themselves all just a big global culture.
I guess, but in any case, it can be an issue for us viewers of a television program.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, this doesn't seem 100% right.
No, yeah, totally. And we're definitely tackling the big issues here on MK Podquest.
Yeah, I don't want to bog us down, but it's like a perfectly reasonable thing to bring up where it's like in any media that trades in a lot of like Asian cultural anything, to blatantly ignore that when you're introducing like a primary character seems kind of weird. I know that this is like a different iteration of these characters and all of that.
Right.
I get it, but it's one of those things where it does feel kind of bizarre to not commit to that kind of casting, especially when like the extras who don't get to talk sometimes are, but then, we have a main character. We have to make sure it's a white man.
Yeah, I will be upfront. We'll meet a lot of, I'll say, racially diverse characters in the future. There's definitely a lot of representation, not always positive, but it is there. So, but yeah, you're right. It is like Sub-Zero is a Chinese character in the games, and he's not presented as a Chinese man in the show, and that is important to acknowledge. No slight on JJ Perry, the actor who portrays him, because that guy rules. But yeah, you know, it would have been nice if they had gone with a Chinese actor to play this role that the people who are familiar with the games know is a Chinese assassin, right?
Right.
And a popular one, like probably one of the most popular Chinese characters in like modern media, certainly in video games.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that would have been nice. I will say, for what they are doing with it, it does seem that Sub-Zero is just a guy who can fight good and throw ice.
Right.
So I get that, like, they're not, it doesn't have an outrageous amount of depth no matter who's playing the character. So, because we don't learn much about Sub-Zero. We basically get like origin story, and that's kind of it. But not even really. We get like the end of the origin story.
Yeah. Also, just we should say that Scorpion is a Japanese character.
Right.
And they changed him to Chris Casamassa, who is decidedly not Japanese, and also still gave him a traditionally Japanese name of Takeda. So they really are kind of playing it fast and loose with this kind of stuff, aren't they?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's to be expected of a lot of, well, television in general.
Especially in that time.
That's what I was going to say. I don't want to give it a pass for that, but I'm not going to say that it's not to be expected. Right. I don't want to give it a pass.
It just needs to be acknowledged. Right. All right. So, shirtless dudes doing kicks in a room full of a bunch of badly dressed ninjas.
Under a spotlight.
We get a view of the Lin Kuei logo, the symbol, their like tribe insignia, and that's consistent with how it's presented in the games. I thought that was pretty dope. And we got the Lin Kuei master talking about this shirtless kicky dude, right? And he's talking about how they're training him in ancient powers.
Yeah. I don't think it's in this first scene, but we do get a line that's like, we haven't had somebody like this in forever. This is crazy rare.
Right, yeah. So there's something special about this guy. And to show us more, literally and figuratively, they had him take his pants off.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's just wearing like the belt and like
the ninja outfit belt.
The belt / crotch apron, right? I don't know what else to call it. I certainly wasn't going to start Googling that, but yeah.
Mortal Kombat crotch apron. Okay, Google.
So,
hey, Alexa, show me Mortal Kombat crotch apron. For the love of God, I hope that triggered somebody's Alexa.
I'm going to turn the volume up just enough. Yeah, and I think that this is something also I want to point out. Like, this is a show, as we saw it with Jen, we see it with Vorpax, we're going to see it with a lot of the other female characters. But here we are, episode 3. We've got a mostly naked dude.
Ripped as hell,
and he is more undressed than anybody else on the show will ever really be undressed.
I guess aside from Tracy Douglas in the opening credits, who appears to be mostly naked.
That scene that's coming up in a future, maybe the next episode.
In any case, dude is nearly naked, jacked as hell.
Yeah, and props to them for equal opportunity, partial nudity, right?
Equal opportunity horniness on Mortal Kombat Conquest.
There's literally something here for everyone. So so then what's he doing? He's like kneeling on the ground, and they did something like they put like,
oh yeah, this is great. They've got hot coals or like hot rocks in a bucket, and then they drop them on his back in a very like clunky kind of way, and in response he has to like dunk his hands in a bucket of what I guess is just really cold water.
Yeah, it like freezes his hands.
Yeah, it seems like vaguely mystical water. And then the Grandmaster says something to the effect of like fire and ice, like both painful, but in a way that like balances each other out.
Right. This is how
and it will make him stronger.
Yeah, this is how they're unlocking his powers.
Is like they're using the same logic that Trojan uses to make condoms to power up their fucking Ice Man. And I'm like, I don't know if that's how that works, but okay.
Oh god. But apparently it does.
Sub-Zero fire and ice.
Yeah, so then something happens to one of the Lin Kuei Grandmasters, right? And like he starts choking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the same one, but I guess it might be a different one. He just sort of starts to like suffocate and die. Maybe was that Shang Tsung? Do we know?
Yeah, that was Shang Tsung. Yes, it was.
Okay.
And then writing appears on the wall at the front, and they look at it and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like, "Oh, it's Shang Tsung."
Oh fuck, Shang Tsung is here and he's pissed.
Motherfucker, it's a secret message from Shang Tsung. So from the Cobalt Mines, Shang Tsung is force choking and writing graffiti.
Which is tight as hell.
Yeah, this guy's got...
Shang Tsung is hands down the coolest motherfucker on this show.
Yeah, until he does something later that's pretty...
Until he does something later this episode where he loses a lot of that credibility.
Yeah, it was...
But for now, after that particular moment, pretty cool.
Yeah, so now we cut to the combat crew.
We're going to have to milkshake duck Shang Tsung later, and I'm sorry.
Okay, so we cut to the combat crew, who are, I guess, still on their journey back from the Order of Light, the Temple of the Order of Light from last episode.
Yeah.
And they're stopping to take a rest, and Ciro and Taja are still like having doubts about agreeing to do this with Kung Lao, right? Like,
yeah, I know this is literally scene 2, and we can't go this in depth on every scene because we'd be here for 6 hours, and we're not going to do that. But I need to say, this scene is emblematic to what you were saying earlier about the way this show is written and how it feels. This episode, I mean, something that was driving me kind of insane while watching it is the way this show is presenting the internal conflict of the characters just by saying it out loud in very plain language.
Right.
Is like absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like Taja's having doubts and she's basically saying, "Oh man, I sure am having doubts." And then Ciro or Kung Lao or one of the boys is like, "Come on, man. We're all having doubts." What? And then Kung Lao's like, "What, you think I know what I'm doing just because I was asked to do this?"
Yeah.
"We're all having doubts." And then she goes, "Well, if we're all having doubts, maybe I just gotta stick with it." And it's like, wow, you guys really just sort of explained it verbally, huh? You didn't really give us a chance to read into it. You just sort of told us what was happening.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, Ciro's also still talking about how he's down with helping Kung Lao train new fighters, but he can't help but feel he'd be training them for something he doesn't fully believe in. He's still on his Mortal Kombat denier bullshit.
And it's like, get over yourself, man.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure this is still fake news, but
you're going to see a man throw ice in 15 minutes.
Right, yeah. Oh. Also, Ciro's new character trait that comes up in this episode a couple times is that he eats a lot.
Hungry boy.
He's a hungry boy.
Hungry, just a starving man.
Yeah.
Just like a ravenously hungry dude.
He's a hungry.
I feel like this episode. Oh, I need to let you say whatever this is. He's a hungry what, Neal?
He's a hungry man. TV dinner brought to life.
Basically, he's a big hungry man with big arms. Big hungry man meal walking around. Big arms, big legs, big heart.
He's also a snack.
Dude is a snack.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the episode where characters just got new traits.
Oh, totally.
All of a sudden,
I think they realized they hadn't done much to give them a lot of depth in the previous 2 episodes,
yeah,
and
they were like, "What if Ciro's a big doofus, kind of big hungry doofus, and Taja is just like, what if we turned the quippy knob up like 4 or 5 more notches than it already was?"
Yeah.
And Kung Lao is like, he's a bit like saltier, for lack of a better word.
Well, he just lost the love of his life. Give him a break, man.
No, for sure. But I mean, like with Raiden, he's very like, what the fuck?
Right.
And he's, there's got to be a better word than salty, but everybody will get what I mean if I say that. So
Yeah. So, all right. So we get back to Zhu Zhen, and I just got to say, I love all of the like Zhu Zhen streets, like B-roll footage that we get.
Shots. Oh my God.
They're the best. What a dope city, dude. I love it.
And everybody's like just up on each other.
Yeah.
All the fucking time.
Packed like sardines.
Like, everyone's writhing.
Clothing optional.
Clothing supremely optional.
You've got like monks carrying like bags of spices or something, like right next to like men and women in chains being led along by others.
Yeah. And you've got robe clad religious nomad right next to like in your face fishnets lady.
Yeah, and whoever's selling the leather bikinis in this city is making bank. right?
Yeah, that's the business to be in. Is
Lady
you want to sell
Lady Death cosplay.
for everybody.
Yeah, for
Everybody's got it.
Yeah, even the dudes. Some of them.
People are stoked.
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking leather daddies abound, and it's ridiculous. And it's very good. And I think that energy combined with like the bad CGI energy is just really good.
I'm so into all of the CGI establishing shots like we get of the Lin Kuei temple.
Oh my god, the one of the Lin Kuei temple is so ugly. It's so good.
I love it. It's oh man. I don't know what it is.
It looks like a screensaver from a ripoff of Myst you would find in a cereal box.
Maybe it just reminds me of all my Sega Saturn games. I don't know, but
it could be.
I'm so
it very
into
well
it.
could be.
Yeah.
We've talked too much about Sega Saturn. I need to find an excuse to talk about F1 at some point.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. We'll definitely work.
We gotta even the scale.
Absolutely.
There was no race this weekend, so I got nothing.
We got to start every episode with an F1 update from here on out.
In the immortal words of Daniel Ricciardo, loosey goosey. That's all I got.
All right, we'll make that work.
He said that once.
All right. So the combat crew's back in Zhuzhen. They're at the trading post, right?
Yeah.
And Kung Lao like tells Taja to open up because he and Zero have to like peace out to get some snacks.
Yeah, they made that seem like an emotional moment for some reason. I don't know why they asked Taja to open up.
I think he was doing it because she talked earlier about how she's never really had a home. She always moves around.
Yeah, like a welcome home kind of thing. Like give her the moment to be like, hey, this is yours as well now. You can scope it out first.
Yeah, and boy, is that about to backfire, right?
Yeah, boy, you kind of... She gets... So she lets herself in.
Place is trashed.
She's looking around. Place is trashed. And... uh-oh, there is a ninja on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Ninja assassin falls from the ceiling and immediately starts just absolutely kicking the shit out of Taja.
Yeah, it was rough.
It's very bad. And she gets annihilated.
She's fighting back. She even like grabs like a sledgehammer or something and like hits him in the face with it, and it barely phases him.
Yeah, she's not fucking around, but this dude came to play inexplicably because later on in this episode they're going to triple the number of ninjas. Kung Lao and Zero show up, and they're like, well, this is a problem. And they can barely take this one ninja.
Yeah.
This ninja's incredible. He does that, like, he double kicks at one point and deflects, like, both of their kicks.
Yeah.
With his kicks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And
he's doing flips off the walls.
Yeah, once again, we get to the best part of the show, which is bitchin' fight choreography.
Damn straight. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, the Lin Kuei assassin ninja is, he's easily handling the combat crew. I think eventually though they turned the tides after he probably wore himself out doing all those like run up the wall backflips.
Yeah, it's like when you get a toddler excited about something and then they just lose it for like 20 uninterrupted minutes and immediately fall asleep.
Yeah, he got cocky, and then I think Taja like gets a bigger hammer and just like smashes him with it.
Which somehow doesn't kill him. She effectively murdered him.
Yeah, it looked like she was going right for the head too, but maybe those...
Yeah, it was some real Looney Tunes shit that she was trying to do.
Maybe that thin polyester hood that he was wearing was stronger than we think.
Yeah, so then Zero gets all up in his business. He's like, who sent you? They're from the Lin Kuei. Why were you sent? Blah, blah. And then he lifts up the ninja because he's like, oh, I know how to make this man talk. And in response, the ninja snaps his own neck.
Fucking snaps his own neck, right?
Now, have you heard this thing about how if you were to try to bite through a human finger, it's basically like biting through a carrot? So it's not hard. It's just that your brain won't let you. Oh. Have you heard that? I don't know if that's true, but have you heard that before?
Yeah, I've definitely heard similar things.
Okay. So, assuming that's true for the sake of this argument, could you convince your arms to break your own neck?
I guess if you're trained in the ancient evil ways of the Lin Kuei, you could.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I've never met anybody trained in the ancient evil ways of the Lin Kuei before.
Yeah, so do we count this? We don't count this as a fatality. This is a...
It is a fatality. He fatalityed himself.
Well, you know how in like, I think starting in Deadly Alliance, you could do harakiris, and you could kill yourself before your opponent got to?
Yeah, I guess it's that. Sure. It's like a sub... this is a sub list.
Yeah, this is our first harakiri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just crossing my fingers somebody gets turned into a baby.
we are kind of get the opposite of that in a couple episodes.
Oh, does somebody get Benjamin buttoned?
More or less.
They should institute that into the next Mortal Kombat game, is you can make somebody rapidly age.
We get reverse. We get a reverse Benjamin Button later on.
Also, I don't know why I keep talking about Benjamin Button like he just aged really fast.
Yeah, no,
he actually did the opposite.
Benjamin Button ages backwards. He starts old and gets young. We're gonna get an episode soon where it's
somebody starts regular age, gets old real quick.
Yeah, I guess it's late onset Jack's disease.
It's reverse Benjamin Button's disease.
So yeah, the Lin Kuei thief or assassin or whatever is dead, and they're all like wondering what was he doing there. They kind of decide he must have been searching for something, which explains why the place is so tossed. And then they're just going to like go to bed for the night, right?
Yeah.
Taja confirms that she was sleeping in the trading post's dungeon. She uses the word dungeon, so I guess that settles that small debate from last episode. It was definitely a dungeon.
Yeah.
Ciro says he's lived in the trading post most of his life. He's just going to go back to his old quarters. That's a sad life for Ciro. Lived in the trading post most of his life. He's like 40, right?
Well, we don't know how old he actually is.
Right.
We know what he looks like.
I guess it's a rough life.
Yeah, he could just be like a grizzled 24-year-old.
Everyone in Zhuzhen is in their early 20s, but it's just a hard as fuck life.
There's a lot of sand and wind and sun and chains.
And fights.
And fighting. The big thing is the fighting.
Assassins literally everywhere all the time.
Yeah. And like killing people who can't possibly have like a cool gem or lots of money.
Right.
People are hiring assassins over like real petty shit, I bet.
Yeah, definitely. Like that dude stole my parking space. I need you to kill him.
Right. Yeah, because like fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He stole the spot where I tie up my horse with his horse.
So Kung Lao decides that he's going to sleep in Jen's old room, and he goes up to the room, and we get flashbacks of, I guess, just flashbacks of last episode.
Too many flashbacks on this fucking show. We keep getting flashbacks of shit that just happened.
Yeah. Well,
like, especially with like the interludes for commercial breaks where it's like, here's the fight that you just saw again and slower. But like, we don't need the Jen flashback if it's the same scenes from the previous episode.
Yeah.
Also, why did you include the kiss in the flashback where Jen doesn't close her eyes? It feels weird.
She just wanted to look at Kung Lao. She's so in love with him. She couldn't bear to close her eyes. She had to just like take in his beauty.
Don't want to close my eye.
Okay, now I have to leave that in.
That's what that song's about, right? I think.
Yeah. Don't want to fall asleep.
It's about because I want to kiss Kung Lao.
Their relationship very much was Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler in Armageddon, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Her dad didn't approve, and then he had to be the hero at the end, right? And she lost her father.
I'm gonna take your word for this one, man.
Yeah. So Kung Lao, he takes Jen's room, and he
Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Am I right?
There we are. Now it has to stay in. So Kung Lao's still sad about losing Jen, and that's nice. I mean, he really was in love, right? And she hasn't been gone that long, and
it's probably been like a day, right?
Yeah.
Like a couple days max.
Dude is forlorn as fuck.
That's his new character trait. Forlorn.
Forlorn Kung Lao. That would be his.
Yeah, like Punished Snake from Metal Gear Solid. This is Forlorn Kung Lao.
Or the different archetypes, when in like Mortal Kombat 10, you pick the different versions of the characters. This would be Kung Lao Forlorn.
Yeah, that's extremely good.
Yeah. So next we cut to, I noticed this, I had to remember this cut to the cobalt mines because it opens with like a lava pit, right? Do you think last episode when Scorpion fell through the crack, he was getting sucked back into the cobalt mines? Because it's the same lava.
In this show's fiction, maybe.
Yeah.
I assumed it was the Nether Realm because that's just where your brain goes with Scorpion stuff.
Right.
But because it's established that this is a place where there's like hundreds of fighters,
yeah,
it's entirely possible that he just went to the cobalt mines.
And he came from the cobalt mines too, the Scorpio relic. So
yeah, maybe he went back to the Scorpion body.
Yeah. Let's proclaim now that it seems like he got sucked back into the cobalt mines. So
yeah, do you think they have a company store where you can buy stuff with like cobalt mine dollars?
Yeah, they're only good for use in the cobalt mines.
Shang Tsung actually got all the power and privilege that he has in there because he wrote the song 16 Tons in the cobalt mines.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say it. Vorpax is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
She looks good. I wish she had gotten to wear better clothes, But yeah.
Yeah, I guess the catch is they're trying to lean into her as like seducer
Yes.
really hard. So her outfit feels a bit kind of like I don't really like it works, but it's a bit much in like the fact that it's choosing to show skin in places that are almost nonsensical.
Right. They're trying to make it really clear that she's not wearing underwear.
But it's like it's the same thing where it's like down the side there's just like big holes down the side and stuff.
Right.
And this is not like a weird body shaming people can't do that. Like this is not a very like conservative like reactive response. It's just kind of a weird outfit.
Right.
And that combined with how like seducey she gets, it's just kind of like, come on, costume designers.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you, and I think that's important. We're not shaming anyone. Of course, everyone has the right to dress however they want,
including in the cobalt mines.
It is, but the reality of it is that like this was a show just made by dudes,
Yeah, it feels a bit like the gradual decline of Melina from actual character to object.
Yeah, it's
and I feel like with what we've gotten from Vorpax up to this point, it is teetering dangerously on the edge of actual character and object.
Yeah, totally. But I just needed to say it. Like Tracy Douglas, she's beautiful. I'm totally into it.
Clearly having a good time. Like she's great at this. Like we're like, come on, Shang. Yeah. Like I love that she just calls him Shang. Like no one ever does that.
Yeah.
So hearing her just be like, "Oh, come on, Shang," is amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's great. Yeah, I love her, and her character goes to some really interesting places. She gets a lot to do, which is great because I'm a big fan of Tracy Douglas as Vorpax in this show.
I want to see her get more to do than just get all over Bruce Locke. And like, I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
But,
she's definitely,
we got to give her some more.
She's definitely being thirsty on Maine right here, right?
To her credit, though, you can tell that she also, like, she's doing it purposefully. Like, she's clearly got goals.
Yeah.
And, like, aspirations. And she's like, I can use this guy.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's very apparent that she's like, oh, if I convince Shang to, like, fall in love with me, I can use his great powers.
Right, yeah.
For my own ends.
Yep. She's looking out for number one. Can't blame her. She's trapped in the cobalt mines. But so she's checking in on Shang, right? And Shang is kind of like sitting there meditating.
Drawing
stuff in the air, which must be what's showing up on the Lin Kuei temple walls, right? That's how he's doing it.
He's texting.
Yeah, he's sliding into the Lin Kuei's DMs. and she's like very clearly trying to get him to bone down, right?
Right.
Yeah, and he's sort of...
And he's not interested. He doesn't even want to talk initially. He's like, you're bothering me.
Right. But he tells her what he's doing, and he's contacting the Lin Kuei, who are, he gives us the skinny on them. They're an ancient, deadly group of assassins, and he's hiring them to steal something for him, and we don't really know what it is yet. Like, he knows it's hidden at the trading post, so he's also secretly hoping for like a 2-for-1 deal, where because Kung Lao's also at the trading post, the Lin Kuei is gonna take Kung Lao out for him.
They're so good, they're gonna kill him as collateral while getting me this cool crystal.
Right, and Shang Tsung's kind of proud of himself that he's not paying them to kill Kung Lao. He's just getting them to do this other thing, so he's gonna get a little freebie out of them, right?
Yeah. 2-for-1 special from the Lin Kuei.
Exactly.
Buy one crystal, get one murdered rival free.
And so I think Vorpax like builds him up, talking about how smart he is or something, because suddenly now he's like into it.
Yeah.
And he's decided her seduction is going to work, but motherfucker.
Well, I don't know if that's what he decided, what he decides is, I forget the precise line. It's something to the effect of like, maybe I do have use for you, or maybe you can like entertain me after all, or something.
Yeah.
And then she gets a mildly concerned look on her face, and he just takes off his shirt and like menacingly backs her into the darkness.
Yeah. He said something like, I don't think this is going to go the way you imagine.
Yeah, your seduction's not going the way you thought it was, which
fucking gross.
Fucking sucks a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not good. And you know, I really want to root for Shang Tsung here as the fun bad guy, but like this shit fucking sucks.
I know. They're doing the thing they did in episode 1 with the Baron and Taja, where they're trying to like really make sure we know who the bad guys are.
That they're bad. And it's like there are ways to illustrate to me that someone is the villain without having to do shit like this.
Yeah, at the expense of the women characters again.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's not like that scene goes into it.
No.
But like the implication is more than enough to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, like come up with anything else.
I mean, we've seen him do enough bad shit. I don't know. Maybe this is...
He reactivated a possessed demon scorpion to kill the protagonist.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
And now he's hiring
we know
a clan of assassins to continue this.
An assassination clan. More than one. He sends 5 people. We know he's the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a part of, you know, this kind of thing happened a lot. God, how insensitive that sound. I don't mean to say that insensitively by calling it this kind of thing.
But the writing is lazy. Using sexual assault as like a villainy crutch is lazy.
Yeah, and it happened a lot in this era of television in these sort of genre shows, you know. It was a real shortcut to gross dude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it feels like a bit of an elevation, or not an elevation, but an escalation of like the damsel in distress trope generally, because I feel like by the 90s you're trying to like up the ante a little bit, maybe make stuff a little bit edgier. So it's like, well, what if somebody's not like kidnapped and trapped somewhere? What if we do this shit?
Yeah. So
and it's like, no, man, you don't have to do that. Like, and there are narratives in which that is like a valid piece of subject matter. Not in your goofy Mortal Kombat show. Like, this is just lazy.
Yeah. So this is something that stuck out to me when I was thinking about this. You know, it's October when we're recording this, right? I know the show is evergreen and will live on forever.
Yeah,
but
just like Mortal Kombat Conquest.
I've been back in my like slasher movie mood, which is honestly not a mood I leave that often these days. And I remembered this bit of trivia about Friday the 13th, Part 3, where the final girl in that was originally written to have had an interaction with Jason Voorhees earlier in her life, where he like attacked her and molested her in the forest. And they took that out for the movie because they were like, yeah, this is a little much. We don't need this. This isn't going to do anything good for the character. This is completely unnecessary. So like during the filming of the movie, they were like, yeah, we're just not going to do that at all. They didn't shoot it or anything, right?
Okay.
But it was there from the beginning. And so when the slasher genre, when the Friday the 13th series has more restraint.
Bad sign. If Friday the 13th as a franchise is ever expressing more restraint than the thing you're doing, you fucked up.
Exactly.
Because that man goes to space.
Yeah, but it was just like, you know what? Yeah, we don't need to do something like this just to show that this dude is evil and is the bad guy. There's better ways.
Yeah, we already know he's evil. He gets fought in a climactic battle with the protagonist in episode 1. We already get it.
Yeah.
And also I feel like it's doing a disservice to Vorpax, regardless of her like seducer angle. Like to just be like, oh, actually, and now she's in this position and can't do anything. It's just like, fucking come on.
Yeah. Yeah,
be better.
It sucks. You know what? It fucking sucks. There, I said it. Oh, it sucks. I can't even enjoy shirtless Bruce Locke because of it.
Yeah, come on. Let me have anything. This is about me now. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. God, this.
But
I got another sweaty edit on my hands, don't I? All right.
I mean, eventually it'll get easier.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll stop saying as much shit that shouldn't be in here. So after the cobalt mines, we go to the Lin Kuei, I think?
No. We go
Not yet?
Not yet.
What am I forgetting?
We so after that scene, we go back to the trading post, and like Taja's getting ready to peace out.
Yeah, she's like, what if I just left, actually?
Yeah, she's like, I didn't sign up for this. I thought it was a good idea, but then I got immediately attacked by an evil ninja.
Valid.
Yeah, so fuck this shit. And Ciro is like trying to talk her into saying he's making her feel bad about like, oh, so you're just gonna go back to your old life.
Yeah, he's like trying to guilt her into staying,
right?
Which does ultimately work.
Yeah.
But I will say, I like Christiana Loken. Again, she's doing a really great job. Like, you know, it's maybe a little quick of a turnaround, but it's like Taja feels like a real person making a real decision and not a goofy character doing a dumb thing. Like I again continue to think that Taja more or less feels like the most human person here.
Yeah, exactly. Ciro's still in I'm a cop mode.
Yeah.
And Taja's really struggling with, for the first time in her life, she was like going to have some stability, and then it ended up being chaotic anyway. But, you know, now she's kind of like, okay, you know what, maybe I should stick around because I still have a chance. If I leave, I'm definitely going back to this life of uncertainty and chaos. But if I stay here with these dudes, maybe I've got a chance of doing something good still, and I have a roof over my head. So yeah, I guess I'll stick around. But she does take a shot at Kung Lao when he says he has to go talk to someone, and she's still like rolling her eyes about the Thunder God thing. And like, seriously?
It's unbelievable to me that these two still, so like, they just see Raiden and they're not thinking anything of it at all.
They've seen him pop out of nowhere too.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Later in this episode, they're going to see his eyes filled with lightning.
Yeah. Yeah, that was dope. Yeah.
And you're telling me you don't think fucking other realms exist, Ciro, you fucking clown? So yeah, we go back to the Lin Kuei Temple. We've got the Grandmaster, and they're sort of deliberating because it's like, oh shit, the guy we sent, it didn't work out great. He did not get the thing, and he did not kill the man. So what are we gonna do? And so they're in that same like ceremonial room, I guess, and a big portal appears. Like a big spooky portal, and he gets sucked through it and into the cobalt mines by Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
And Shang Tsung is basically like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Shang Tsung's like, you sent one guy?
To Kung Lao. Just let me get this straight, Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei. I told you that you are stealing a crystal that lets you teleport to any realm from Earth's most powerful fighter, and you sent one fucking guy?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Also, if Shang Tsung can pull people into the cobalt mines,
why can he not pull himself out of the cobalt mines?
Or why can't he just pull Kung Lao into the cobalt mines or something like that, right?
Maybe Kung Lao's got like an aura that's too strong.
Maybe. Yeah.
Some weird mystical spiritual reasoning.
Right, yeah. So
in any case, he can pull the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei.
Right. And then the Lin Kuei Grandmaster's like, no, we'll send more dudes, and if that doesn't work, we've got this one guy who's like super special, and we'll send him if our other guys don't do it. So don't worry. We got this, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, they're like, oh, so what you actually got with that one guy was like a trial version of the Lin Kuei.
Right.
Just to see what you thought, and now you're gonna get the whole deal. We're gonna send 3 dudes, and just so you, Shang, are comfortable as a customer, we've got this new guy. He can do some crazy shit, and he's waiting just in case.
He's not ready yet, but he's gonna be ready soon, right?
And Shang Tsung's like, send that guy, and they're like, well, we can't, but we've got 3 other guys.
By the time our other 3 guys fail, we'll be able to send that other guy. So don't worry.
That's really what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they're like biding their time.
Yeah. So we find out that Shang Tsung's looking for this crystal that can allow travel between realms, and that's a pretty powerful thing for him to have. And I think the Lin Kuei Master's like, yeah, that'll be a great item for for Shao Kahn to have, and
then Shang Tsung's like, or me, motherfuckers.
That's right. He's got aspirations, right?
Yeah, this Shang Tsung I feel like is very openly, I guess because we've seen him get fucked around by Shao Kahn already, he's very openly like, I'm gunning for that crown.
Yeah.
Like, he very openly wants to be in charge and like the most powerful guy.
Yeah, Shao Kahn watched the throne, all right?
Yeah.
So now we've got Kung Lao, who's been out in the woods trying to get a hold of Raiden, right? And Raiden finally like pops up, and Kung Lao is like, where the fuck have you been?
I need your help so bad, and you said you'd be there. And I was walking on the beach, and there was only one set of footprints, and I thought it was because you were carrying me, but I was actually walking by my fucking self because you were not there. Where have you been?
And Raiden's like, look, I'm not instant God or something like that, right?
Yeah, which is a line I think is cute. On the scale of Raiden's like annoying, smarmy bullshit, I appreciate, look, you don't call me and get instant God.
Yeah, he explains that he's in charge of all of Earthrealm, not just Kung Lao, so he's got other shit to do.
He also says, and some other stuff, which could mean a lot of things.
Yeah, maybe he was taking his vacation from last episode. So, but I think that was like the show telling us, like, yeah, we know there's a Thunder God in our cast who has a lot of power, and we really need to stress to the viewer that we can't just use Raiden to solve all these problems, because then there would be no television show.
Yeah, they're giving themselves an out for why Raiden isn't just doing all this shit on his own.
Right. I don't know. They have another back and forth. All I really remember is that Raiden, like, pokes Kung Lao in the head again and is like, you need to fucking use your brain.
Yeah, he basically tells him to figure his own shit out and, like, stop being a baby.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the extent of the conversation.
Right. So now we're back at the Lin Kuei temple, and the mysterious shirtless dude is doing his kicks and splits again.
The same ones.
The same exact ones from the beginning of the episode. You're right. They are, aren't they? It's the same.
Yeah, they are.
We also see that when they go to commercial at one point. The same fucking...
Dude, they milk that shot for all it's worth.
It's a good shot.
But this time, the funniest thing in the world happens. And I have it written down because he does all these cool moves, and the Grandmaster goes, all that effort and the heat of the room, you must need water, and throws a bucket of water in the air that he's supposed to freeze.
Yes.
And it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he's just like, water! And he just fucking throws it all in the air. And he fails to freeze it, so he gets some water on himself.
But I thought he hits it. He hits it, and he does freeze it, but it like takes a lot out of him.
Yeah, I don't think it stays frozen. I think it's like partially frozen, and I thought it like thawed. In any case, top to bottom, perfect.
Such a good scene. And then the Grandmasters are like, get the fuck out of here.
Ah, shit, you're not ready yet. Fuck you.
And then they have that little conversation about centuries have passed since they've had someone with this kind of power, which leads, that ties into Sub-Zero as we know him, who is a cryomancer, right? Who is on Earthrealm. So he's from like a whole race of people who are cryomancers.
Right.
Yeah. So that does kind of imply that there is something special about this guy's lineage, which is making him able to do this stuff.
Yeah. They say like it's not unprecedented, but it's extremely rare.
Yeah, that checks out. That's a lot more in line with the Sub-Zero mythology than the Scorpion one was portrayed in this series.
Mortal Kombat mythology, Sub-Zero.
So now we're back at the trading post with the combat crew, and they're like tearing the place up, looking for whatever this object. I guess it's just Zero and Taja looking for these things, and Zero's like, boy, I search for things better on a full stomach, because again, his new character trait is that he eats food a lot.
Oh, we have to just call him Hungry Man forever now. Sorry, Zero. You've lost your name. You are now Hungry Man.
Yeah, we'll remind people every episode that Zero is Hungry Man, so that the new listeners can jump on board.
By the end, everybody will have a nickname.
There we go. So yeah, and they're so they're looking for things, and then they get attacked by 3 Lin Kuei ninjas now, so it's 3-on-2, right? And I think that they like knock the fuck out of Zero and Taja.
Oh yeah, Zero gets dumpstered, and then it very quickly becomes 3-on-1.
Yeah, and then Kung Lao shows up, right?
Yeah, and this is the confusing bit, largely because they sent one ninja who very nearly beat Zero and Kung Lao both. And this time, Kung Lao absolutely thrashes these 3 idiots.
Yeah, they must have just not been as good, right?
Yeah, they sent Greg, Jeff, and other Greg, and they're the B team.
So Kung Lao like kicks the shit out of Greg, Jeff, and other Greg, and really kicks the shit out of one of them, and they start.
That's Jeff.
Yeah, they really kick the shit out of Jeff.
Yeah, breaks a leg, it seems.
Yeah, so the other two like grab him and start they leave.
The Gregs pull him out and they run away.
The Gregs pull him out. They're leaving the city. Ciro's like, I guess, probably feeling a little butthurt because he got his ass kicked so bad. And he decides to chase after them, right?
Yeah. He says he's going hunting, even though he doesn't do that. He just sort of manages to track where they went. And we get an outrageously terrible, amazing shot of Ciro on the outside of the city walls.
Yes.
And just horrific CG. Just earth-shatteringly bad.
Oh, God. I feel exactly the opposite. I loved it.
Oh, no, it's really
I'm so
good.
into it.
It's really good. No, I'm into it.
Oh, man.
But it looks bad. You know what I mean?
No, I think it looks great. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, I mean... I don't know how, I want to say it the way I'm saying it, but I don't mean it disparagingly.
No, I got you. Yeah. I get so excited every time I see these things. It really is. I just love it. I'm like, yes, this is exactly how I wouldn't want this to look any better than it does.
Right.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. And all right, so where are we? Oh God. Okay, so so Ciro's chasing the Lin Kuei guys out and he gets outside the city and we cut back to the Lin Kuei fortress and dude is just in a giant block of ice.
Oh, yeah, so that's important. They skip a lot of Sub-Zero development.
Yeah.
We cut back and Jeff and Greg got fucked up. And by the time they get back and get made an example
Only two of them make it back. So Jeff must have died along the way. Do we call that a fatality?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm willing to.
We'll give that one to Kung Lao, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we get back and Sub-Zero has developed so much that he is just a giant frozen ice man.
Yeah, he's naked or mostly naked again in a big block of ice. And he like hatches out of it.
Yeah, and then they're just like, something, big speech. This is Sub-Zero.
I wrote it down. Hold on. We have to read this.
Okay.
So he breaks out of the ice and they're presenting him with his special Sub-Zero clothes.
Which are everyone else's clothes but blue.
And better fitting.
Much better
and
fitting.
The Grand Master says, ageless yet new, untried yet deadly. His approach will be as silent as new-fallen snow. His attack as fierce as a wind-driven blizzard. His devastation as brutal as winter's relentless kill. He is complete. And then the music gets like metal, right? And we get a full shot of Sub-Zero in his classic blue outfit. I fucking loved it. It's so hammy. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's an insane speech. Like, trying to make him sound hard, but it's just like...
Yeah.
He's as intimidating as a pleasant winter landscape.
His devastation as brutal as winter's relentless kill.
Whatever the fuck that means.
I don't know. I'm getting it tattooed next week.
The Grand Master has what in like the lower back area?
Yeah, I'm getting a Lin Kuei Sub-Zero tramp stamp.
Oh my God.
I'm going to get the Lin Kuei logo, and I'm going to have that around it. Right?
Yeah, it's good.
Hey, if people give us enough money, I will do it.
That's a guarantee, folks.
Yeah, I just made a promise.
Yeah, if you can't handle me at my Jeff, you don't deserve me at my Sub-Zero. Get that shit tattooed.
If we get paid $1,000, I'll get that one.
On both arms. Like, one arm says, if you can't handle me at my Jeff, and then the other arm says...
Okay. I'll get them as knuckle tattoos.
Extremely tiny. Like, I think Night of the Hunter would have been vastly improved had his knuckle tattoo said that instead of Love and Hate.
So, at this point, Ciro's found the CGI Lin Kuei temple, and he sees Greg and other Greg go in, and he sneaks inside, and he sees Greg and other Greg being held accountable for failing their mission, and we get to see some like tight Sub-Zero action, where to punish them for failing, he like freezes both of them and like jump kick shatters them.
Yeah, he like kicks with both legs.
Yeah, he does like a jump split kick and just kicks them both to pieces. And that's 2 fatalities right there for Sub-Zero. So we're really killing a lot of people in this episode.
There's a lot of murder in this episode.
There really is. Classic Mortal Kombat.
And Shang Tsung killed his character, arguably, by doing a very bad thing.
I think that's a half harakiri for Shang Tsung. Yeah. Yep. Thankfully, it didn't kill Bruce Locke's career.
There it is.
Back at the trading post, Kung Lao and Taja are still searching for things, and they end up like they spin a globe in the Baron's room, I think, and it unlocks a secret drawer, and they find this red Chaos Emerald, right, from Sonic.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, it just looks like regular quartz, but I don't think quartz is red.
Look, I'm not a rock expert, but
We don't need to spend time on this.
fantasy quartz.
Yeah, it's fantasy quartz. And like Taja does something to like kind of open it in this, like it starts glowing like light everywhere, and then she closes it real quick, and they're like, all right, this must be what the Lin Kuei we're looking for. And right then Zero shows up, and he's like, I found the Lin Kuei, and we're in trouble because they're gonna send that guy to fight us. And literally Sub-Zero standing in the other doorway.
yeah. Like the time elapsed between that guy and his reveal is like a second.
Yeah.
It's a great reveal, and then it immediately just becomes a big fight.
Big fight. Sub-Zero's there to get that crystal. Now that they found it, it's right out there in the open for him, right? So he starts throwing down with Zero. The first thing he does is freeze a chandelier, and it comes crashing down, and Kung Lao and Taja barely dodge it, but it freezes part of Taja's arm.
Which she says burns, which I think is an allusion to like the fire and ice pain balance out into the ultimate killing machine, or whatever the fuck they said.
Yeah.
But is that an established thing?
Yeah, no, that is you can get, they call it burns if you get like...
No, I know, but does Sub-Zero's ice in particular burn?
I don't know.
Because she's not saying the ice burns because it's cold. The implication I was getting is that the ice burns because it's like magic.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe. I guess magic ice.
I don't know what it feels like to get hit by magic ice. Give us $1,000 and I will get hit with magic ice.
I think it's probably like dry ice, right? Which would burn the fuck out of you, wouldn't it? So
give me $1,000 and I will get put in a dunk tank of dry ice.
$2,000 will get you Corey dying of frostbite and me getting if you can't handle me at my Jeff, you don't
deserve me at my
you don't
Sub-Zero.
deserve me at my Sub-Zero tattoo on my lower back.
For the record, this is GEOFF.
Right.
Because it's Greg, Jeff, and other
the
Greg.
3 G's.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's what they called each other. They hung out like the three amigos.
Yeah, right before Greg and Greg were executed, they were like, I guess we're just the 2 G's now.
Yeah, and now there's now nobody's got any reception because there's no G's.
Good one.
Thanks, bud.
Fuck. Yeah. All right. So
we need to keep a good joke counter because I think I am crushing.
So Zero gets Sub-Zero out of the trading post into that like courtyard area, which is empty. So there must be a
conveniently empty for once.
It must be kind of a dry city, right? Bars and stuff close at a certain time.
Yeah. You guys in the US, you have dry counties, right?
There are some places, yeah.
Zhujin is in a dry county.
Yeah, Zhujin must be in a dry county because nobody's on the streets. It's like prime party hours and everybody's at home. And Zero and Sub-Zero are fighting. It's mostly a lot of Sub-Zero throwing ice and Zero dodging it. And Taja and Kung Lao join him, and they all kind of realize that every time he throws ice, it weakens him. So their plan is to get him to throw a bunch of ice at them and dodge it.
Which is the funniest plan in the world.
Yeah.
We're basically just going to tucker him out.
Basically, they're going to rope-a-dope him, right?
He's getting thoroughly rope-a-doped.
Yeah, and it works, right? They're like blocking his stuff.
Yeah, dude gets tired and runs away.
Yeah, well they're blocking it. They're blocking his shit with like vases and boxes and just somersaults or whatever. And then Raiden appears like up top, like on the top of a building, and he's staring down.
And he's pissed off.
And he's fucking pissed. He's got his lightning eyes, right? And Sub-Zero's looking at the crystal on the ground behind Kung Lao.
And then Raiden, and back to the crystal, and back to Raiden.
And then he just fucking books it out of there.
Yeah. And it's so funny because he runs away and he does like a big somersault to get away. And then he gets back to his base.
Yeah.
And his boss is just like, there's no dishonor here. We didn't think Raiden was going to show up. How could we possibly have known? It's not your fault that Raiden showed up. It's Greg and Greg's fault that they got their shit beat. But you know, Raiden was there.
You're special. You're off the hook.
There's a Raiden clause in your contract. We can't get mad if Raiden shows up. So, you know, you're fine.
He's clearly Grandmaster's pet.
Favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Grandmaster was also like, now that we know Raiden's there, he's going to destroy that crystal, so we really don't need to worry about it anymore. Which is like, do your due diligence, Lin Kuei. Like, you're better than that, right?
Yeah, fuck. This is like a great ad for the Shirai Ryu, because the Lin Kuei are fucking incompetent as shit.
Yeah.
They don't accomplish anything.
No, not in this one.
They don't send the right guys for the right job, and they're way over schedule.
Yeah. They don't have the manpower.
They're over budget because they've spent 4 entire guys on this.
Yeah. Not a great business model.
No.
This Grandmaster. So if you
The Yelp reviews for the Lin Kuei are terrible.
Yeah, this Grandmaster is just ineffectual. You know, the Lin Kuei needs a real leader.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the balls, you know?
No, I bet he's in that position because, like, his dad was Grandmaster. Like, it's some real nepotism shit, graduated top of his class.
He graduated college and he was like, no, my dad's going to get me a job at his dealership. I don't really
At the Lin Kuei.
really need to worry
My dad's
about
going to get me a job at his assassination clan.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, he says if I just put in like 6 months, they can start moving me up the ladder pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they think that Raiden's going to destroy the crystal, so...
Fucking bougie bullshit. And joke's on them because Kung Lao stands up for himself for once.
Yeah, he mentions the crystal to Raiden, and Raiden's like...
Raiden gives a dad speech where he's like, you have to give me that shit. Which one of you has it?
He goes like Gandalf One Ring intense, right?
Oh, yeah. He gets very, like, serious. And he's like, okay, I don't know which one of you has it. It doesn't matter. You have to give me that.
Fucking
if Shao
give
Kahn
it to
gets
me
it,
now.
That's super bad shit. And Kung Lao's like, actually, fuck you, Raiden. We want to keep it.
Yeah, you were just telling me.
You told me to start thinking for myself, you fucking dork.
Just fucking telling me that you weren't going to do all this shit for me and I had to make my own decisions. I'm making my own fucking decision here. You're not getting that crystal.
Yeah, so Kung Lao's growing up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. And he's having real conflict with Raiden.
Yeah, like, and finally Raiden feels like less of a fucking joke.
Right.
Because, like, he's, like, serious for once.
Yeah.
So every character gets a little bit more this episode of, like, a little bit more rounding out.
Raiden gives up and he's like, fine, guard it well. I have a headache.
And he leaves.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Yeah, it's a very anticlimactic ending.
No, because the episode ends with that zoom out that like, you know, we're looking down on the trading post from like that Buddha statue or whatever.
Right. I mean, Sub-Zero is just hanging out because he's angry.
He's on that statue like intense and the music is, again, metal as fuck.
Seething.
And he's just like, you know.
Yeah, he's just seething.
He's seething. He wants his revenge. He wants to take another shot at Kung Lao. And maybe in a future episode he's going to get to. But not in this one because this episode is over.
And, you know, it's too early to start ranking these.
Yeah.
Because we've only seen 3 of them. But this felt a lot like the first 2, which is what I said to you earlier, in that it's sort of checking a lot of the same boxes. Like the strongest stuff still feels like the fighting.
Right.
And while the character stuff is getting rounded out a little bit more, it's still quite samey to the stuff we've seen in the first 2 episodes. Yeah. And some of the characterization choices I'm not loving.
Right.
So I'm still a bit like, I'm here for the fights. Character stuff, I can see that it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm totally with it yet. And like some of the stuff's just kind of like, I don't know, the Hungry Zero thing is weird.
Yeah.
And it just feels a bit surface still. But, you know, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah. The one big change from this is that at the end of Warrior Eternal, you know, it looked like Scorpion was done for and he died, right? So they didn't really give you any hints that he could be coming back. This time, you know, another popular character from the game, Sub-Zero, they left it open-ended, right?
Yeah, so you know that we're going to get more of that.
Yeah, and they also try to show us, like, this dude's powerful. He's still learning his powers. He's still new to this. But he was still a pretty formidable foe, so he's only going to get stronger from here, right? So, yeah, anyway, that's the show.
You said you had some shit you wanted to tell me about, me and the audience, I guess, not just me, about JJ?
Yeah, let's talk in MK Podquest tradition. You know, in the first couple episodes, we talked about our main cast, and we talked about Chris Casamassa, who plays Scorpion. I want to highlight the kind of guest stars that are going to show up each episode. Yeah, so this week we had Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero was played by an actor, martial artist, and stunt performer named JJ Perry. He's a 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo and a 2nd degree in Hapkido. Man, he has done so much stunt work. It's insane. I'm going to pick out a couple interesting ones here.
Cool.
He was a stunt coordinator for John Wick 1 and 2 and The Fate of the Furious.
Okay.
He did stunt work in John Wick, and you may remember so did Daniel Bernhardt.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
that's a Mortal Kombat Conquest reunion movie.
You have no idea. Not only did he work on the John Wick movies, he also was in Bloodsport 3 starring Daniel Bernhardt.
Oh my god.
Right?
This is the shit I live for.
So
these weird connections.
So I'm going to recommend here right now that you tackle some of these Daniel Bernhardt Bloodsport sequels on They Made Another One, and you should definitely try to hit Bloodsport 3.
Yeah, I think we'll do at least that one at some point. I feel obligated now.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But he's also no stranger to other Mortal Kombat projects.
Ooh.
He did some uncredited stunt double work for Lyndon Ashby in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Okay.
And he straight up played Cyrax, Scorpion, and Noob Saibot in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He also, we didn't mention this with Chris Casamassa, but when Mortal Kombat did that Federation of Martial Arts like live show, like basically like a stage stunt show in Mortal Kombat theme.
Yes.
He was also on that. I don't remember the characters he was playing, but he was on that with Chris Casamassa and some of the other stunt people from the movies.
I love that Mortal Kombat keeps it in the family, dude.
Yeah, they really do. Also, some of his stunt work, this isn't the first time that we've seen J.J. Perry on this series. It's the first time we know that we saw him, because he did some stunt work, including doubling for Paulo Montalban in Warrior Eternal Part 2.
Okay, so we have literally seen this man's
We've literally seen this guy before on this show.
While fighting.
Yeah, and I think that he does that for another episode or two later on in the series as well, because again, he's just like
a very talented.
Yeah. Look at his IMDb. He's been in everything, right? And it seems like in the recent years he's transitioned to more of a stunt coordinator role as opposed to like being a stunt actor, but like he's made a career out of this. It's pretty rad. And I absolutely love the Daniel Bernhardt connections all the way back in Bloodsport 3 and
that's
the
awesome
connection to the movies and the way Mortal Kombat does seem to like keep this group of actors together like through all of these productions. So yeah,
that's extremely cool.
Yeah, also hot guy, right? Fits with the show.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to give a little background on J.J. Perry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, next week coming up, we've got a very clever episode title. We're dealing with Immortal Kombat. Who knows what that could mean?
Immortal Kombat?
Immortal Kombat is episode 4's name.
Oh God, which one is that?
It's the fourth one.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about it. No spoilers.
I think I know which one it is. We won't talk about it.
I will say in a couple episodes, there is just an episode named after a character.
Yep.
And I wonder if they're going to show up in that
No
one.
looking ahead, listeners. No spoilers.
Yeah, don't ruin it for yourself.
That's the one with the one with the oily leather daddy.
Everyone's favorite DLC character for MK11, oily leather daddy.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this up. Corey, what do you have to plug?
Oh, geez. I don't know why I'm always acting surprised like I don't expect plugs when plugs are pretty typical here. First things first, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Corey Price. And you can follow my Letterboxd at Mr. Corey Price. There's not a ton going on there, but, periodically there might be something interesting and you'll want to be there for it probably. And you can listen to my other podcast that I do with my good friend Liam called They Made Another One. We watch sequels, reboots, remakes, all that stuff to franchises that people don't really remember. So if you're looking for a hot take on Tremors 2 or Cube 2 Hypercube, perhaps, those are some recent episodes. If you're wondering what people are thinking in the year 2020 about the remake of Maniac or The Color of Money or Poltergeist 3, you've come to the right place, and you can find that on all of your podcast services at They Made Another One with a question mark and exclamation point. You can catch us on Twitter at They Made Another.
Nice. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Final Neal. That's Neal with an A, Neal. You can follow my retro video game collection Instagram account at A Mess of Games. We'll put links to all of these things in the show notes. We should probably tell people to follow this show on Twitter, shouldn't we?
I guess we haven't been doing that, but yeah, we should.
Really haven't. Follow MK Podquest on Twitter at MK Podquest. Make sure you subscribe to our episodes.
Review us on services that let you do that, and I promise we will be on Apple Podcasts soon. It's not up to us, it's up to Apple, and they're slow as shit. We're trying.
We're working on it, but we're not going to let them hold us back, are we? Hell no.
No. Who do they think they are? Shao Kahn? Absolutely not.
Hell no. So yeah, follow the show. Give us good reviews when and where you can, and
give us $1,000.
Send us money.
That's it. That's all we want you to do.
Send us money. Definitely slide into our DMs with Cash App links or whatever you got.
My PayPal is no. Not gonna do that yet.
And I guess that's it. We'll be back next week with Immortal Kombat. I'm just gonna stop it there.
Goodbye.
No goodbyes.
So long. Toodles. I've continued recording. Okay, I'll stop.